You know, it's ironic that Hollywood, characterized in the modern age by a near-total absence of originality, can produce dramas off-screen in real life that are so bizarrely and absurdly novel and full of eccentric twists they would be beyond the scope of any actual screenwriter. Victoria Alonso, the Gru to Marvel's post-production VFX and animation minions, has been cast aside by the powers that be. Initially, it was thought that Alonso was fired from her role at Marvel for serving as a producer on the Amazon Studios film Argentina 1985, a breach of an agreement between Alonso and Disney which stated employees would not work for a competing studio. To clarify though, Alonso, through a lawyer, said in a statement lacking in any self-awareness and full of self-aggrandizement and martyrdom, elevating her above Joan of Arc, John Brown, and Peter the Apostle. Victoria, a gay Latina who had the courage to criticize Disney, was silenced. Then she was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. The Reprehensible Act is believed to be a request to censor gay pride references in the latest Ant-Man movie in a certain country. So what gigantic marketplace, in which sprawling, globally significant powerhouse of a nation did Alonso make her stand? Which critical society, bestriding the globe like a colossus, with a vast and teeming population and sway over world affairs, was the hill on which Alonso was prepared to die, to forfeit her career in a deed of righteous sacrifice? Kuwait. Yes, Kuwait, which is only about 6,000 square miles and has only about 20 cinemas. Rare footage I've obtained of entertainment business liaisons in the region illustrates that Hollywood's dealings with the Kuwaiti cinema industry have notoriously been fraught, involving tense diplomatic discussions.
Durka Durka, Muhammad Jihad, Haka Sherpa Sherpa, Abakala.
Alonso, who was gay, was an outspoken proponent of inclusion during her time at Marvel, championing diverse stories. According to The Hollywood Reporter, as Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was being readied for release, word came down that Marvel executives wanted an editor to blur a storefront window that featured rainbow decorations and the word Pride for the version of the film to be released in Kuwait, which has restrictive anti-LGBT laws. The storefront was shown in two fleeting scenes in which Paul Rudd walked down a San Francisco street. When the Quantumania request reached Alonso, she apparently refused to have her team make the edit as part of her duties overseeing visual effects and post-production at Marvel. Marvel then went to an outside vendor to see the edit through. Kuwait is the only country in which the Pride references were blurred, according to sources. Pushing Marvel's Enlightenment values and unabashed commitment and fervor for liberty to the absolute limit, the insidiously repressive Kuwaiti media autocrats also insisted on the removal of another element of the film, the animated butt cheeks of the character MODOK. For several years leading up to her firing, criticism from VFX workers abounded, with them raising complaints of Marvel's demanding post-production schedules. Alonso was described by some as a kingmaker, with a writer at Vulture reporting that Alonso was singularly responsible for Marvel's toxic work environment with VFX workers. Alonso has been outspoken in wanting more queer representation in Marvel, and by extension Disney, even going so far as publicly haranguing Bob Chapek to do more. This is in spite of Val and Cinta featuring an Andor, the film Lightyear featuring a lesbian kiss, and the film Strange World having a gay protagonist with a crush on another boy, all projects which bombed so hard they threatened to overshadow Chris Nolan's depiction of the Manhattan Project in Oppenheimer. All of which raises an obvious question: why go all in on this film? After all, Disney decided to skip 20 international markets with the theatrical release of Strange World, choosing not to submit the film in countries where LGBTQIA+ content has been made and is likely to be banned. The lesbian kiss in Lightyear ended up with it being banned in more than a dozen countries. A blink and you'll miss it background element while Paul Rudd is walking down the street in Ant-Man 3 to spare the blushes and sensibilities of Kuwaiti citizens, no doubt as bored out of their skulls as everyone else by the shittily underwhelming film itself, seems hardly worth throwing yourself into the Roman Colosseum to be mauled by lions for your beliefs. But then again, this is Hollywood, and Marvel, and Disney, and the cult, or rather the occult, of identity politics. So just another day in La La Land, I guess. So, when I heard of Victoria Alonso's stunning bravery and martyrdom in the name of identity politics, I was stirred to a fitting, visceral, and inevitable response. By the way, some of you might have noticed that I just crossed the threshold of 10,000 subscribers, which is kind of a big deal for me, and so I just wanted to take a second to express my gratitude for all of you who have watched my content made on my dodgy, knockoff software. Given the state of Hollywood, I can assure you there's going to be no shortage of material in the future.